Hey folks, welcome to the Prof Z Project. My name is Zach Marshall, and today we're diving into a tale of reinvention, grit, and the audacity to fake it till you make it. We're talking about having a beginner's mindset. Let me tell you about how I went from being an Army captain with a dusty engineering degree to disrupting the software industry for oil and gas. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. Picture this, I'm standing there, clutching my DD-214 like a life raft, wondering what on earth I'm going to do next. The Army had taught me how to lead men and execute on a plan, but in the civilian world, I felt as useful as a screen door in a submarine. So, I did what any self-respecting veteran would do. I called for reinforcements. Enter Orion Talent, a recruiting agency that gets veterans linked up with companies looking to hire veterans so they can trade in their combat boots for dress shoes. Actually, I still wore boots. I interviewed with 5 different companies ranging from quality engineer to telemetry engineer to project engineer. Each one a different as flavor as a pack of Skittles, except they all had the name engineer in them. However, I chose the project engineer at Mangan Software Solutions. Why? Because sometimes you've got to trust your gut and go where the action is. At the time, that was Houston, Texas. Oil and gas, and a bunch of academy grads who spoke my language. Here's the deal. When I joined Mangan, I knew as much about software design as a fish knows how to ride a bicycle. But I did know one thing. I knew how to learn, and I wasn't afraid to look stupid in the process. My secret weapon, regular meetings with our champions, specifically at BP. I'm talking scheduled, consistent brain-picking sessions. I walked into each one with a boatload of questions and ear turned on to catch every problem, no matter how small. I was like a detective, piecing together the puzzles of their outdated safety override processes, paper-based systems, multiple approvals, endless checklists. In 2013, this was like using a horse and buggy on the freeway. Now, let's talk about my design process. Brace yourself. I used Microsoft Paint. Yes, that's right, Microsoft Paint, which tech bros in Silicon Valley were drooling over the latest design software. I was proving that sometimes the simplest tool is the sharpest. But here's the kicker. It wasn't about the tools I was using. It was about the ideas. I'd sketch out solutions to problems I'd uncover, focusing on functionality over flash. Working daily with the experts was like being a rookie in the NFL, intimidating as hell. But I turned it into my advantage. In a room full of technical wizards, I became the voice of the customer. I was the bridge between the complex code and the people who actually had to use the stuff. It's like that line in The Office Space. I have people skills. So I'd work closely with our developers, translating customer needs into technical requirements. I didn't know how to code. Well, a little, but not really. I knew what needed to be coded, and that made all the difference. I became obsessed about getting it right. I wouldn't show the software until I knew I'd hit the bullseye. It wasn't about impressing with all the bells and whistles. It was about solving real problems. The learning curve was steep, as I was navigating wire diagrams and software requirements like a tourist in Tokyo without Google Translate. But I kept at it day in, day out. Every interaction, it was a chance to learn, and every mistake a lesson. Then came TUV certification. My company wanted to get me more credibility, so they sent me to get certified as a functional safety engineer. Talk about a fish out of water. I was in a room full of seasoned functional safety engineers, feeling like I snuck in the wrong class somehow. But you know what? All that daily grind paid off. I didn't just pass the test, I aced it, scoring the highest in the company I'd ever seen. And I'm not even a good test taker. Here's what I've learned. Success in a new field isn't about having all the answers on day one. It's about having the humility to ask questions, the persistence to keep learning, and the confidence to apply what you've learned in ways that experts might not even expect. I didn't just adapt to the new industry. I helped reshape it, one Microsoft Paint diagram at a time. In business, as in the Army, victory often goes to the one who is the most resourceful and uses those resources most effectively. So That's my story, from Army captain to software innovator, via Microsoft Paint, and sheer determination. Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? So, whether you're a veteran transitioning to the civilian life or a student graduating looking to shake things up, take that shot. Use the tools you know, ace the exams, and for God's sakes, don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. So go out, go forth and conquer, and don't get captured.